These tears have you had to wipe away to hide your pain? Is your destination really worth your drive insane? If you're really looking for love, you should
What a
turn
wonderful
inside.
day to be a Homo sapien. Hey guys, it's Charles with the Legend Culture YouTube channel, and I'm here to talk to you about self-love. Well, all on social media information is down at the bottom. Twitter, like you to like and subscribe, and you know how that goes. So about self-love. What is self-love? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically loving yourself. But people don't really understand that completely. I don't think they don't know what it really is. And I don't think it's that they don't know what it is. It's that they don't know how it works. They don't think it's possible because of all of this structural things put on to people that America does and the world does to people. Before I can actually get into like loving self, I'm gonna teach you how self-love works when you're in friendships and relationships. So keep watching. Once you successfully love self, it's like part of your soul is just enlightened. It's like a force field just dissipates around you, and then when an insult comes here, it just bounces off. When some bullshit comes here, just bounce it off, because like you just self-love. Like nobody can affect you if you love yourself, because you're not looking for other people to love you, because you got you. Nothing can affect you. Like loving self is the first step to confidence. Because once you can love self, you can be confident in anything that you do. Like loving self is a very, very powerful thing that I think people just don't completely understand. So I'm gonna go in very detailed ways of how self-love operates in friendships, relationships, and really both, because they're really the same thing. You just don't have sex with your friends, because if you have a real relationship, you're best friends with your significant other. So that's basically the difference. So let's get into that. To understand self-love in your love ships, in your relationships, in your friendships, any ships that you guys sail on to go find some type of connection with people, it always starts with positivity. Now, we all have relationships, we all have friendships, but to have true friendship and true relationship and to completely understand them, you have to start with positivity. Like, when I say positive, I don't mean anything counterintuitive. It's either I'm going to win the chess game, or I will not lose the chess game. See, people go wrong by saying I will not lose the chess game because, one, they're implementing lose into the vocabulary, therefore causing a definition to run in their head, therefore focusing on that losing. As if when you say win to your own self, say I'm going to win the next chess match, you're invoking things to go out to start doing things so you can win the chess match. So you might practice more. You might get an app and get better at it. You might go look up the different statistics, look up the best chess players, look up different strategies. That's what things with positive people do. People think like, oh, if you say positive, things are just going to happen. Well, they do. But also happens if you work for it. It also happens if you take the time out your day to invoke this positive thought and actually really go out and want it. That's what happens at the end of the day with positivity. Now, how may one go about this self-love bullshit? I'm a very spiritual person. I go based off my intuition, how I feel about things. When I get shivers, I pay attention to my surroundings in a multitude of ways that people my age don't really do. So we're going to get into the 3 R's and how they affect your friendship and relationships. What are the 3 R's, you ask? Well, they are rapport, relation, and realization. These 3 R's are basically the whole process of how you intertwine with people and have your friendships and relationships, and how this happens on a spiritual and vibrational level, and things that you don't necessarily notice because we're mostly focused on the physical aspect of things, or really only the physical aspects of things. We only exist and think about this physical world instead of understanding our feelings. Like, what do we really feel? Like, what is rapport? Well, rapport's definition in the dictionary is a very close and harmonious relationship. But coming from my point of view, when you establish rapport with somebody, it's when 2 soul sharers or soulmates or people that have auras that mirror each other or have lots of very positive, negative, and similar characteristics in that sense. And this when you connect on a level. Like, look, you know when you first meet somebody, like you meet a girl, you meet a boy, you meet somebody that's just like a friendly type, and it feels like they know everything about you. Like everything you say, it just clicks, and like you can talk for hours and hours and then on somebody you just met. That's crazy, right? It's just this random feeling. Having rapport is that establishment of like a continuous vibe. In this video, I'm gonna refer to rapport as the match. The match is something that goes and it lights up with a huge when it's quick and it sparks and it eventually will go out. Unless you throw into a bonfire, but we're gonna get to that when we get to realization. See, the thing about rapport is that it's that first spark when you meet somebody. So, like, when we get to the spiritual aspect, it's vibes. Like, so when you're in the room, you feel vibes. You feel like you understand, like, something bad happens, something good happens, you know. So, or you can just come in and just let it hang. You know what I'm saying? You can just be that person that just sets the whole thing. You know what I mean? But the thing about rapport is that you and your soul share or soulmates or similar aura create your own vibe that's continuous, and it's just sometimes they can die out, sometimes they will strive for years and years. See, what you need to know is that everybody around you has auras. I have an aura, you have an aura. You just got to understand that. So when these auras connect, that's what a vibe is. That's the vibration. So when two things hit, it's like everything makes a vibration. Simple. Still used to this YouTube thing, so I'll probably come out with a video about some auras and let you know how that works, you know what I'm saying? But let's also get to relation. Yeah! When it comes to relation, here's the real definition. The way in which two or more people become connected. Now, here's my spiritual definition. In a way, two or more people become connected and keep a continuous vibe that circulates around those two people considering their auras. So, when does relation start? Relation starts typically, I would say high school. That's when you start typically getting. That's when you start sparking the matches and throwing them in the bonfire. You see, what some people don't understand is that spark matches will go out. But in order to keep that flame going, you're going to need some more wood. You're going to need some more personality, things you like about somebody, you know what I'm saying? So right now, relation is that bonfire. So think about all the friends you have. When you get into high school, when you get into like this adolescent part of life, this is around the time where you start making a lot of friends and losing a lot of friends. And when you start understanding the aspects of how friends really work, you see, this all comes out in your auras, all in your energies. See, we don't really focus on these things, but I'm going to enlighten you on this because we all have this aura I tell you about you, and they connect with people. Like, you ever walked in the room, like somewhere you probably always walk into, and then you just like, when you just look around, you just see everybody stare at you mad, you just feel the bad energy, like something bad happened or somebody was arguing, just something, and you just want to just get out. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you about right now, because when you're in that relation stage of your friendships and you're able to like see these auras, not even really see auras, like really just understand them, like things get easier as you try to connect with people, because you're gonna go lean more towards people that are like you. Like we typically just think we find people like us, but like sometimes it's that feeling. You just gotta follow your heart. You probably have friends that you've had for years, but you have no idea why you're friends. Like, you just know that, like, I like this guy, we're cool, it's that simple, he takes care of me, I take care of him, we make sure we're good, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, it's just like that. Like, and you can't even go back to, like, the first day you met. But it's because you guys have been making this continuous vibe since the day you have met. And it's just been going on forever. Sometimes being able to identify and really acknowledge the relation aspect of the 3 R's is very important, because once you do that, you can start to mold who's going to be your friend, who's not going to be your friend. You can see who's really for you and who's not for you. You can see who's deceitful, you can see who's trustful. You create who can be around your circle. You make your circle and you let people in. And that's how you learn. That's the one way you learn how to self-love, like through friends. Some people, they get indulged with a lot of this negative energy, and then they feel like they have to be isolated from people because everybody's trying to hurt them. Some people learn from these things where they make their circle smaller, and minuscule, because they understand that not everybody is for you, because not everybody is. You should be able to pick and choose who you let in your life, because they really affect you. Okay, now that brings me to the final and last R, realization. When it comes to realization, well, really, it's technically the same definition as my spiritual definition, except that this is when you come in tune with being able to physically see and understand positive and negative energies. So now, I call this part the fire extinguisher because, well, as there is the match and you spark a rapport, you spark a match. That's when you make friends with people. And then you throw it into the bonfire of adolescence or friendship, and that's where they either grow and grow and grow from more and more matches, or more fuel to it, you would say, or it would dissipate and die away. We have many bonfires across our span of friendships and families, but now it gets to the fire extinguisher because the fire's already been made. Now it's just to the point when it's time to extinguish it or let it keep going. As you watch this video and as you go through life, I really want you to start acknowledging the vibes that people create. Like, when you get around somebody that makes you feel uncomfortable, you feel some tension somewhere on you. Or when you're around somebody that you love, it's just so, just this breath of fresh air talking to this person, being around this person. Like, that's what I really want you guys to start seeing. And then as we get and go along, I'm gonna start making more videos on these auras, and I'm actually gonna finalize with my final self-love video while I go over it all, just basically what self-love is, because honestly I still need to do some research because I know how to self-love, but I'm not perfect. I'm a person just like you guys watching this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still on my path to learn this thing. So don't think I'm not putting myself above you. I'm just like you guys. I'm just trying to do my best so support the people I love, and I love everybody. So Charles, what does this have to do with self-love? Charles, how does it even help me? Charles, where does this even make sense? Well, let me explain to you. As I've gone on, I gave you my physical examples of what I'm trying to explain to you considering auras and vibes and friendships and relationships. So now I'm going to be a little bit more specific on how the match, the bonfire, and the extinguisher work, and how they match to different areas of your life, and how you can use this knowledge to your advantage, and how you create your friendships and relationships. Because once you start to learn that, and you've been learning it your whole life, it's just that it's not been enlightened to you. So now, rapport, basically you learn how to do that as a child, as you go from 0 to, I would say, around 6, because 6 or in between that time is when you start creating relations with people. But really, when you're a baby, you're constantly making rapport. Like, you come out the womb, you see your mom, you're like, oh, you get a feeling. You love your mom, you might cry. Or you're a little kid, you meet another little kid you never seen before, and you make a spark with them. But most of the time, there's a very, very large amount of lights or matches that are sparked, but they get thrown out because they never got into a bonfire, because we never understood these things. Or sometimes naturally that we do, we'll create a huge bonfire that will last us our entire lives. As I was getting to when I was talking about the match and the bonfire and the fire extinguisher, so when you light that match as a child, usually those bonfires will go into adolescence. Adolescence, it can stretch very far. It can start at around middle school and go into college, or even after college, depending if you're being taken care of by somebody else, if you're not supporting yourself. So adolescence can go a long way. So depending on the person, it can take a while to figure out who you are and what self-love is, because you've been taken care of for so much that you might even not even know what it is, or you haven't looked into it. But this is what I really want. This is the point that I really want to get to. Okay, so when you light the match, it goes into the bonfire. So like I said, but typically it's in between the time of middle school and the end of high school. Some people after high school still live with their parents, go off to college, go live their own lives, go to work. But this is where most of your bonfires either thrive or go out. Like, anybody in high school, or anybody that's watching this that's got 9th grade and above, you understand what high school is. It's a treacherous place, you know what I'm saying? You lose a lot of friends, and then you actually make friends because you're starting to learn how friendships and relationships works. But we're all doing it subconsciously because it's a natural collaboration. People are collaborative creatures that thrive off others around them. We just sometimes ignore it. With that, it's not really ignoring, it's just that we don't take the time to acknowledge it because of all these different veils of illusion that covers our face. I'll probably get into that with another video when I start educating myself a lot more on these things. Yeah, so let me get to the next part. Now, rapport, realization, childhood, adolescence, match, bonfire. So now, the next word is realization. And I use the fire extinguisher as my example. So you can tell it by context clues is that I'm going to go into adulthood. See, now, adulthood usually starts, it can start at 18 and you in the adult world. Or like I said, it depends on how long your adolescence is stretched out, depending on where you live, where you are in life. So when adulthood comes, this is when people, I would say, have the most control of how their friendship and relationships go, really, because you're an adult now and it's time to make right choices. It's time to do what you got to do because you're going to have to survive in this world. So I say childhood and adolescence are the most uncontrollable things because that's when you're being built, like you're being put together, like of who you are, and you're figuring out yourself. So like there's a lot of uncontrollable factors that I'm relying on that. So now when you get into adulthood, that's why I specifically chose the fire extinguisher to put out either the match or the bonfire, because you have control. Because when you get into being an adult, into adulthood, you're going to understand that, okay, this bonfire has been burning for a long time, but is it honestly good for me? And you're going to think about it, because if something can be toxic to affect your mental health, your physical health, your money, and or any other aspect that is important to you, you should not have those toxic people or toxic things in your life at all. So this is the time where you have the choice to or hold it back, because that's how it goes. Really hope you enjoyed my video. I hope it was informational, inspired you, and enlightened you on a lot of things. Like I said, my name is Charles. I run the Legend Culture channel on YouTube. I'm coming up with a very spiritual and wonderful brand that is for everybody. You're going to be seeing that a lot. So if you just take the time to like and subscribe this video, share it if you want, and follow me on Twitter. I speak a lot on philosophical and positive things, women empowerment, because I don't have that long on this earth. I want to make sure I can do the very best for anybody that comes across my path, because I love to inspire, and I inspire myself every time I can inspire an individual. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, you have a beautiful night, day, midday, morning, whatever it is. Opero Wenji. Much love.
Turn inside. And if you decided to let go, you will learn to fly. You see, there's no such thing as the perfect time. I know it hurts sometimes, but you have to understand some things just ain't worth your time.